Chapter 61 Immortal Goo Second Void Goo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 61 Immortal Goo, Second Aperture Goo. System, collect the 55% performance reward, ding. Yuan stones and Qingti Immortal Essence have been added to your system storage. Opening the rank 4 to 5 Goo Worm Grab Bag. You received the rank 4 Self-Reliance Goo. Ming grinned at the first notification. The very first Goo Worm was a healing one. The Self-Reliance Goo's healing effect scales with the Goo Master's power. With his current strength, it's more than enough to patch him up. You received the rank 4 Workhorse Goo. You received the rank 4 Swift Steps Goo. You received the rank 4 Copper Skin, Iron Bones Goo. You received the rank 4 Diamond Tendon Goo. You received the rank 4 Tyrant Bear Power Goo. You received the rank 4 Flying Elephant Power Goo. You received the rank 5 Thunder Dragon Power Goo. You received the rank 5 All Out Goo. 9 messages flashed in a row, almost making him lose it. Not bad. Ming chuckled, reading the system notifications. This Goo Worm Grab Bag is seriously stacked. That his Clear Sky Hammer Marshal's soul was already geared towards raw power, and these power Goo Worms were just the boost he needed. Right now, the Moon Dao Goo in his aperture was calling the shots, favoring long-range mage tactics. These strength Goo Worms would make him a threat up close as well, creating a complete, balanced fighting style. Imagine fighting someone who thinks he's a squishy mage, only to get ambushed by a flurry of raw power. Trying to cram all these strength Goo Worms into his primary aperture would make things complicated. The Immortal Goo, Second Aperture Goo, was the perfect solution. 10 Goo Worms materialized in front of Ming. He channeled his true energy and refined 9 of them, holding back on the all-out Goo. Since he hadn't used the Second Aperture Goo yet, he temporarily stashed the others in his main aperture. Activating the Self-Reliance Goo, the gaping wounds on Ming's body began to heal at an astonishing rate. In the blink of an eye, they closed up, leaving no trace. The speed of the recovery was insane. Watching the 9 strength Goo Worms buzzing around him, Ming already had a plan. The Self-Reliance Goo speaks for itself. The Workhorse Goo means the more damage he takes, the stronger he gets. The Copper Skin, Iron Bones Goo and Diamond Tendon Goo would toughen him up, letting him handle even greater power. The Swift Steps Goo would make him a force to be reckoned with, granting explosive speed. The Tyrant Bear Power Goo, Flying Elephant Power Goo, and Thunder Dragon Power Goo would all permanently increase his raw strength, just like his original Black Boar and White Boar Goo. But the real prize was the rank 5 All-Out Goo. Having a huge amount of power doesn't mean you can actually use it all. The All-Out Goo lets you unleash every ounce of power you have. Each blow becomes an animalistic haymaker. Ming held off on refining the all-out Goo because he wanted to make it the core Goo of his second aperture. Anything below rank 5 is mortal, below rank 6 is immortal. His current aperture couldn't handle immortal Goo at all. The all-out Goo was perfect for the job, but first, he needed to use the second aperture Goo. System, collect the 50% performance reward. Ding! Yuan stones and Qingti Immortal Essence have been added to your system storage. Opening the Relic Goo Grab Bag. Goo Worms have been distributed. You received a Bronze Relic Goo. You received a Bronze Relic Goo. You received a Bronze Relic Goo. You received a Rank 2 Red Iron Relic Goo. You received a Rank 2 Red Iron Relic Goo. You received a Rank 2 Red Iron Relic Goo. You received a Rank 3 Silver Relic Goo. You received a Rank 3 Silver Relic Goo. You received a Rank 3 Silver Relic Goo. You received a Rank 4 Gold Relic Goo. Talk about RNG, he muttered. This reward is a crap shoot. Good thing I got the second aperture Goo, or these duplicates would be good for nothing. Ming chuckled, then turned his attention to the 10 Relic Goo and another insect, the Immortal Goo, Second Aperture Goo. Shaped like a beetle, fat in the middle and pointed at both ends, the sapphire-colored beetle was about the size of a teenager's fist. On its round back was a golden eyeball with a golden pupil, darting around like lightning. The moment it appeared, it had his undivided attention. He couldn't even glance at the relic goo flying next to it. Normally, Yi Ming, being at rank 3, shouldn't be able to refine an immortal goo. But thanks to the system, all he had to do was channel his true energy. The moment he channeled his energy, it was refined. But here's the catch, activating an immortal goo requires immortal essence. Using his snow silver true yuan on the second aperture goo was like throwing money into a black hole. No response, it couldn't be activated, so it couldn't be used. He did have 2 Qingti immortal essence, but the system offered a free immortal goo activation. Using his own immortal essence would be a waste. Yi Ming sighed and used the system's free immortal goo activation. Instantly, strands of immortal power materialized before him and poured directly into the second aperture goo. The second aperture goo turned into a bean-sized green light, lunged at Yi Ming, and dove into his body. Yi Ming was taken aback. The green light hit his navel first, but was repelled by his existing aperture. The second aperture goo had no choice but to try again, this time targeting the center of his chest. Then, a deafening explosion ripped through him. The bean-sized green light detonated, creating a new, ethereal aperture, the second aperture. Is this it? Yi Ming stroked his chest, stunned. Despite his composure, the creation of the second aperture sent shivers down his spine. The second aperture's aptitude couldn't exceed the main aperture, which was already a top-tier 90%. I had the entire Haotian sect help me improve my main aperture to 98%, Yi Ming exclaimed. This second aperture is actually 98% aptitude too. That's the immortal goo for you. The second aperture was an independent entity, currently at level 1. But with the rank 1 to 3 relic goo he had, it wouldn't take long to level up, and of course, the rank 4 gold relic goo could be used once it reached level 4. He exhaled slowly and used the second aperture to refine the all-out goo. A core goo, just like that. Yi Ming calmed down and transferred all the strength goo worms to the second aperture. After that, Yi Ming eyed the 10 relic goo floating before him and started calculating. According to the story, Tang San will soon return to Tiando City to gather the 4 single attribute families of strength, destruction, agility, and defense. Then, something is going to happen to the Tiando Palace. Except for me, only the soul beasts know what really happened in the Haotian sect, so, right and wrong, truth and lies, all depend on me. I am the leader of the Haotian sect, and Tang San can't change that. Chapter 62 Emperor Tian's Dragon King Claw. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The position of Haotian sect leader? Meh, he could take it or leave it. It was just a stepping stone to bigger things. He was aiming for mythical status after godhood. But, if being the leader could give him a real edge, then yeah, he'd play the part. Yi Ming rubbed his chin, thinking, these 4 families are okay, I guess, but aside from Bai Qinxiang's line, they're pretty useless to me. Still, I need to get involved in that Tiando Palace mess. That's where the Sea God's token, the vast sea universe cover, is. Those 2 Kongqiao kids are just a hair away from being 99% qualified. If I have to, I could snag Tang San and Tang Hao. If that doesn't work, well, Bai Qinxiang's family is blood, after all. His mind was a whirlwind of information, easily managed thanks to his souped-up soul power. He started plotting. While I've got time, I should push that second void to its limit. The copper skin iron bone goo and the diamond tendon goo, plus the tyrant bear, flying elephant, and thunder dragon goo, they all need time to really become mine. Ugh, time is too short. A cosmic goo would be perfect right now. He shook his head, then raised a hand to refine 10 relic goo, sending them into the void. With that done, he focused, using the bronze relic goo to boost his cultivation while using the copper skin iron bone goo and the diamond tendon goo to toughen up his body. Multitasking was no problem for him now, his soul was completely under control. Seeing this, Yi Ming unleashed the tyrant bear power goo to pump up his strength. High above the Star Do Great Forest, a handsome, rugged man in his 40s, with a streak of gold in his hair, stood with his hands clasped behind him. Facing him was the Killing King, cloaked in blood red. Below, Biji, Ziji, the king of 10,000 monsters, and Xiong Jun, sporting a nasty gash on his back, were all staring skyward. Killing King, you off the Red King and now you're trying to wipe out my people. Today's the day you stop. Tian said, his voice calm, his eyes flashed pure gold, and he spun, closing the distance to the killing king in a heartbeat. He raised his right hand, a purple gold flame blazing, and reached for the killing king's head. Clang! That the killing king slashed with his blood-colored long sword, but Tian easily snatched the blade out of the air. Xiong-jun, still smarting from his own run-in with that sword, gasped. He couldn't believe Tian just caught it like that. Heh heh heh. The killing king cackled, and a wave of evil, murderous energy exploded from his sword. Zzzt. Tian's palm crackled, the killing aura forcing him to release the sword. The aura of a god. Surprise flickered in Tian's eyes. He glared at the killing king and said coldly, "No wonder you could kill the Red King. You're a failed demigod. Too bad you're not at your peak. Back then I would have had a headache. Now you're just two souls crammed into one body, barely able to manage some demigod-level power." Tian unleashed his own power, forcing the killing king back. The purple gold flames on Tian's hand flared, engulfing his entire body. He raised his right hand again. As he lifted it, his hand shifted, transforming from a human palm into a dragon claw, as black as ink. Dragon King Claw. The moment the Dragon King Claw appeared, Xiong-jun's heart skipped a beat, and he dropped to one knee. Only now did he truly grasp Tian's power. When Tian beat him, he didn't even use this move. He just toyed with him. Biji, the king of 10,000 monsters, and Ziji all knelt. The Dragon King Claw was a gift from the dragon god to the leader of the Black Dragon clan. It held a sliver of the dragon god's aura. No soul beast, unless protected by the gods themselves, could survive the Dragon King Claw. Every low-level soul beast in the Star Do Great Forest cowered, trembling, at the edge of the small lake in the core. The Ming and Air Ming, still mourning Xiao Wu's sacrifice, felt a tremor deep in their souls. The Ming pressed his entire snake body to the ground, head bowed in respect. He carried the blood of the Azure Dragon, and he felt the dragon god's presence most strongly. Air Ming also knelt, shaking. They might be called the kings of the Star Do Great Forest, but they knew the true rulers of this soul beast sanctuary were the few in the great evil land. A cloud of blood-colored mist erupted around the killing king, then slammed into the blood-colored long sword in his hand. He felt the claw was a death sentence. The evil, blood-soaked sword pulsed with murderous energy, lashing out at Tian. Before, it had sliced a gaping hole in Xiong-jun. But Tian didn't flinch. "Disperse!" He roared, and the Dragon King Claw slammed down, shattering the blood-colored sword energy. The remaining power of the Dragon King Claw sent the killing king staggering back, coughing up blood. Tian remained standing, face grim, untouched. Scree! The killing king shrieked, sounding like a bat, and his blood-red cloak exploded into hundreds of blood-colored bats, scattering in every direction. Tian was momentarily stunned, then attacked, but managed to kill only a few of the bats. "Next time we meet, you're dead." Tian spat, then turned to Biji and the others. He glanced at Xiong-jun's wound, and said, "Biji will heal you. And I'll let you absorb energy from the ice silkworm for a year, as compensation." Xiong-jun lowered his head and grunted, "Thank you." Tian nodded, then fixed his gaze on the king of 10,000 monsters, a coldness in his eyes. "Find Xiaojin and see if you can recover the Red King's body." "Yes." The king of 10,000 monsters bowed, his voice low. Tian sighed. Another general loss to the Soul Beast clan. If the Haotian sect hadn't been completely decimated, he would have personally avenged the Red King, but for now, it was not to be. The Soul Beast clan had to lie low, wait for their master to return. The Pope's palace. Hulaina flew through the air, crashing into the wall of the meeting hall and sliding to the floor. Bibi Dong lowered her hand, her voice like ice. "You can't tell friend from foe. And you're supposed to be my chosen successor. Go to the back hall and face the wall. Don't come out until I tell you to." "Yes, your majesty." Hulaina's face was etched with guilt and regret. Yan's death was largely her fault, and it had broken her. "Your majesty, please, calm down." Yuiguan, Gueme, Thorny Pig, Snake Spear, the four titled Douluos bowed in unison. Calm down. Bibi Dong's eyes flashed with rage. How can I calm down with the four of you? Huliena screwed up, but what about you? As elders of the Spirit Hall, titled Douluos, you let a 20-year-old kid run circles around you. He killed Yen and 20 soul saints. And sacrificed a 100,000-year soul beast. You've done a stellar job. The four titled Douluos lowered their heads, fear clutching their hearts. They could hear the murder in Bibi Dong's voice, cold sweat beaded on their foreheads. They remained silent. Get out. Bibi Dong waved her hand, barely suppressing the rage. The Spirit Hall needed every member it could get. Executing them now would cripple the Hall's future plans. Watching the four retreating figures, Bibi Dong seethed. Titan giant ape and that bull-headed python. You ruined everything. When I have the time, I'll turn you into soul rings. Chapter 63. The first thing to do when you come to Shrek is to have a fight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. More than 10 days went by. Outside Tiando City, Ming gazed at the imperial city of the Tiando Empire and muttered, finally. Hopefully, the Tiando Palace coup hasn't started yet. As Ming entered Tiando City, he couldn't help but think that using those power insects was taking too long. Over the past couple of weeks, he'd continuously activated the relic insects and brought the second void insect up to the peak of the third turn. Now, only one fourth turn golden relic insect remained unused. However, progress with the power insects was slow. He'd only mastered a little over half of the copper skin and iron bone insects in that time, and hadn't even touched the diamond tendon insects. Of the three beast power insects, he'd only fully integrated the tyrant bear power goo, the flying elephant power goo and the thunder dragon power goo were still untouched. These insects needed patient nurturing before he could convert them into his own power. Time flies when you're cultivating, and those 10 days vanished in a blink. Worried about missing a key plot point, Ming cut his training short and rushed to Tiando City. After paying the entrance fee, he got into Tiando City with no problem. Shrek Academy was famous in Tiando City. Ming asked around and easily found the address. Soon, he was standing at the gate of what used to be the Blue Tyrant Academy, now Shrek Academy. Ming spotted the students on duty at the gate, hurried over, and asked anxiously, "Hey, I'm looking for Tang-san. Tell him it's Tang Yeming from the Haotian sect." His current cover story was that he was the sole surviving disciple of the Haotian sect, so he put on an appropriately worried expression. The young student in the green uniform heard Haotian sect and eyed Ming suspiciously, shrugging. Funny you should ask, Senior Tang-san's been gone for over 10 days and hasn't been back to the academy. Ah. Ming slapped his head. Damn, it's already this late. What's Tang-san doing? As luck would have it, Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing, who'd just returned to the academy from Xinglua, overheard him. Hey! What did you say? Dai Mubai's eyes flashed with anger. You calling Xiao-sen a piece of crap? That he hadn't seen Tang-san in 5 years. He came to the academy specifically to keep their 5-year promise. Now, he'd barely arrived at the academy before hearing someone badmouthing Tang-san, and his temper flared. The Shrek motto was that anyone who doesn't stir up trouble is a nobody. Today, I'm gonna beat you into a piece of crap. Dai Mubai roared, shifted his weight, and threw a punch at Ming. Seeing that Ming was younger, he didn't bother using his white tiger martial spirit to bully him. Ming thought, is this really what I'm talking about? The cold wind whistled, and the fist drew near. Ming didn't dodge. The exposed bronze skin shone slightly in the sun. Clang! The sound of metal on metal rang out. Dai Mubai's punch felt like he'd hit a steel plate. Ming remained calm, clenched his right hand into a fist, and drove it straight into Dai Mubai's chest. Bang! Dai Mubai went flying backward 4 or 5 meters, stumbling several steps to regain his balance. Seeing this, Zhu Zhuqing moved like a shadow, ready to attack Ming. Dai Mubai held up a hand to stop her. This is a fight between men, that he glared at Ming. You owe me an apology for making me use my martial spirit. But first, I'm gonna beat you down and make you apologize to Xiao-san. White Tiger, manifest. that a burst of pale light exploded from him. Dai Mubai stretched his arms out to the sides, puffed out his chest, his bones creaked, and his muscles swelled, straining his clothes. Every muscle in his body became clearly defined, and even the air around him seemed to crackle. His hands doubled in size, covered in white hair, turning into tiger claws. Behind him, the image of a ferocious white tiger emerged, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, black. 6 soul rings appeared around him. Level 65 strong attack system battle Soul Emperor, Dai Mubai, ready to teach you a lesson. Yi Ming narrowed his eyes and beckoned to Dai Mubai. Arrogant. Dai Mubai snorted. You won't even use your martial spirit. You underestimate me. Third soul skill, White Tiger Vajra transformation. The third 1,000-year soul ring flashed purple. Dai Mubai's muscles bulged again, and black lines appeared on his skin. For the next 30 minutes, his resistance to abnormal states, attack power, defense, and strength would be doubled. He roared, charged toward Yi Ming, and slashed with his tiger claws at Yi Ming's chest. Dai Mubai was a proud guy. Yi Ming had knocked him back with one punch, and he intended to return the favor. Too lazy to explain to you. Yi Ming stepped forward, and the flying goo propelled him to Dai Mubai's side. Just in time to test out my strength goo on you. That he didn't waste any motions, just threw another punch. Roar, that the shadow of a tusked wild boar appeared behind him. His punch carried the bestial power of the black pig goo. Dai Mubai's eyes widened. He tried to block with his tiger claws, but Yi Ming's fist was already too close. Ugh! He coughed up blood and stumbled backward, a dent forming in his chest. How is this possible? Disbelief filled his eyes. He felt like his pride had been shattered by those 2 punches. Shwa, a shadow flickered, and a pair of cat claws aimed for the back of Yi Ming's head. Yi Ming lowered his stance, turned, and punched. The all-out goo allowed him to control every ounce of his strength. His fighting skills made him a human weapon. Bang, the punch landed squarely on Zhu Zhuqing's chest, almost bursting the soft spot. Zhu Zhuqing groaned, flew backward, and crashed to the ground. Ah! Dai Mubai's eyes turned bloodshot. The 5th 10,000-year soul ring on his body shone with a blinding black light. Zhu Zhuqing was off limits. 5th soul skill, White Tiger Demon God transformation. The power-up from the 10,000-year soul ring gave him confidence, and Zhu Zhuqing's injury pushed him over the edge, and he wasn't done yet. The last black soul ring flared with black light. Dai Mubai's whole body erupted with golden light, and his body shifted in midair. The thick light burst out in all directions, forming a giant character meaning kill in the air. With the double power-up, his attack was on par with a soul saint. 9 treasures turn to glass, and the 9 treasures have names. 1 is strength, 2 is speed, 5 is attack, and 6 is increase. A voice echoed from behind, and 4 colorful beams of light shot from a distance, merging with Dai Mubai's body. He felt his power surge. He looked back and saw Ning Rongrong and Oscar, a long scar across his face, hurrying over from the steps. Dai Mubai roared, channeled all that power into his soul skills, and unleashed them on Yi Ming. This was the power of teamwork. Taste our blood-boiling combination skills. 6th soul skill, White Tiger Destruction Kill. Chapter 64, One Punch Shatters His Passionate Blood. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Dai Mubai's body exploded in a flash of gold. He twisted and morphed mid-air, the light coalescing into a massive, golden character, kill. Ning Rongrong's 9 treasures glazed tile pagoda had amplified his power so much, he was sure this attack could take down even a soul saint. 6th soul skill, White Tiger Destruction Kill. Dai Mubai roared, launching the attack. Yi Ming tilted his head back, drawing his right hand way behind him, coiling up like a drawn bow. A savage tyrant bear phantom loomed behind him. He didn't even bother summoning his martial soul, just took a step forward, sped up by the fast rhythm goo, and intercepted Dai Mubai's kill midair. Bang! The moment their fists connected, Dai Mubai's charged attack shattered like glass. Yi Ming's fist didn't slow. The force of the tyrant bear, enhanced by the beast power phantom, slammed into Dai Mubai's chest, who was frozen in shock. With a wet thwack, Dai Mubai coughed up blood and crashed down next to Zhu Zhuqing. He struggled to get up, but couldn't. The tiger stripes faded from his skin, and he was knocked clean out of his white tiger transformation. One punch, and his fighting spirit was gone. Boss! Dai Mubai! Oscar and Ning Rongrong screamed and rushed over, helping them to their feet. Oscar frantically summoned recovery sausages and stuffed them into their mouths. Seeing Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing's color return, Oscar and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Oscar stepped in front of the group, facing the slowly descending Yi Ming. A vicious, tangible bloodlust rolled off him. Combined with the scar across his face, he looked savage and ready to brawl. He whipped out the Zhuge repeating crossbow, firing a volley of steel needles aimed straight at Yi Ming's head. Then, 6 soul rings appeared around him, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 black. The 6th ring flashed, and a circle of black light swirled in his hand. He tossed aside the crossbow, pulled a jade bottle from his belt, squeezed out a drop of blood, and mixed it with the black light. Slowly, a silvery sausage materialized. He wolfed it down in one bite. His movements were fluid and practiced. Yi Ming watched the incoming needles and let Oscar finish. He simply raised his hand, his copper skin iron bones ability stopping every needle cold. He just watched Oscar eat the sausage, waiting to see what he'd do next. The Shrek's 7 devils, except Tang San and Xiao Wu, who might be useful later, were basically irrelevant. They were just background noise to him. If they didn't get in his way, he wouldn't even bother swatting them aside. The only reason he was even bothering with them now, instead of just killing them, was to give himself more leverage down the line. Oscar's eyes shimmered with silver. Then, a dozen blue-silver emperors, streaked with blue, gold, and red, burst from the ground, instantly forming a blue-silver cage around Yi Ming. Ignoring the others' shocked faces, Oscar strained, his hands moving in the air. A red-gold-blue-silver king's spear appeared and lunged towards Yi Ming. Just as the spear descended, a fist smashed through the blue-silver cage, colliding with the spear head-on. Crack! The spear, fueled by 2/3 of Oscar's soul power, splintered into a million pieces. Yi Ming kicked open the remains of the blue-silver cage, fixing his gaze on the 4 people in front of him. Whoosh, he blurred, instantly appearing in front of Oscar. A quick punch sent him flying backwards, smashing into a distant wall and coughing up blood. Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing started to get back up when the terrifying iron fist came again. Bang! 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 3 rapid thuds, and Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong crumpled beside Oscar, clutching their chests, looking defeated. Yi Ming stared at the 4, slowly lowering his fist. Look, I just came to find Tang San and tell him something important. You guys jumped me and attacked me first, so isn't that a little unreasonable? Dai Mubai, what? Zhu Zhuqing, huh? Oscar, seriously? Ning Rongrong, Shrek Academy, Headmaster's office. Flanders frowned, and Lu Erlong stood before his desk, looking at him with pleading eyes. Flanders gave a wry smile. Erlong, I can't do anything. You know Xiao Zhang's temper. You can't talk him out of it, so what good would me going do? You know Xiao Zhang's biggest dream is to be acknowledged by his family. It's the whole reason he's devoted his life to martial soul research. The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex clan massacre hit him hard. This is his way of dealing with it. Lu Erlong's eyes glistened. But he's either training those soul masters around the clock or researching martial souls around the clock. If he keeps this up, Tang San's already talked to him. He just needs time. Maybe when Tang San gets back from visiting the 4 great clans, Xiao Zhang will snap out of it. Flanders paused, then asked, how's the effort to gather the remaining members of your Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex clan going? Lu Erlong gave a bitter laugh. Less than 100 people, and mostly younger kids. The strongest is only around level 50. I'm basically the strongest member of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex clan now. The spirit hull's ruthless. They don't make idle threats. Flanders sighed, resentment flickered in his eyes. Lu Erlong clenched her fists so tight her knuckles popped. The spirit hall is evil. Bibi Dong, you witch. I'll make sure you never get reincarnated. Flanders sighed again, changing the subject. Mu Bai and Zhu Qing are pushing for an alliance between the two empires. With shared interests, the empires will inevitably join forces against the Spirit Hall. But the Spirit Hall is too powerful. Between the number of soul masters they control and the military power of their client states, they could go toe-to-toe with both empires. If war breaks out, it'll be a disaster for the whole continent. Lu Erlong was about to reply when a hurried knock echoed through the room. Headmaster, it's terrible. Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing are back. A student burst through the door without waiting for permission, shouting frantically, they, Oscar, and Ming Rongrong got beat up at the front gates. What? Who dares to hit my students? Flanders and Lu Erlong exchanged a look, then stormed out of the office, activating their martial souls and sprinting towards the entrance. As they arrived, they saw a handsome man in a green suit retracting his fist. Across from him, Dai Mubai, Oscar, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ming Rongrong lay sprawled on the ground, nursing their injuries. The man frowned and said coldly, "Look, I just came to find Tang San and tell him something important. You guys jumped me and attacked me first, so isn't that a little unreasonable?" Flanders and Lu Erlong arrived just in time to catch the last sentence. A little unreasonable, that they dismissed their martial souls and landed in front of Dai Mubai and the others. Reason? You attack my students at Shrek Academy, I'll show you what reason really is. Flanders twisted the truth with a single sentence. 8 soul rings suddenly flared around him, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 black. Lu Erlong snorted, glaring at Yiming, her own 8 soul rings mirroring Flanders in color. Chapter 65, Fists Are the Truth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You trashed my students at the academy gates, and now you want to reason with me? My fist is the reason. Lu Erlong glared at Yiming. The fire dragon martial spirit only amplified her rage, making her look ready to pounce any second. Dai Mubai and the others exchanged glances, impressed. Not only had they improved their soul power over the past 5 years, but their teachers had too. And they were as fiercely protective as ever. All right. Yiming's composure cracked, and he laughed, laced with anger. So, the fist is the reason, huh? Well, I'd say my reason packs a bigger punch. With that, the dark golden clear sky hammer materialized in his right hand, accompanied by 6 terrifying soul rings, purple, purple, black, 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 and then, orange gold. What? No way. What is that orange gold soul ring? Dai Mubai and the other 3 forgot their injuries, gaping at Yiming's soul rings. Flanders and Lu Erlong shared a look of utter shock, even they had never seen such an insane soul ring configuration, let alone an orange gold one. More importantly, Flanders sensed a surge of power from Yiming that rivaled their own. Flanders adjusted his glasses, realizing the young man must have been holding back earlier. That soul ring alone, defying everything they knew about soul masters, could make him unstoppable among soul saints. Power was the ultimate truth in their world. Flanders had initially planned to strong-arm Yiming and then get to the bottom of things. But after seeing those soul rings, he figured it was best to ask questions first. Kid, you were saying. Buzz. Before Flanders could finish, Lu Erlong was engulfed by her fire dragon form, and a blast of fiery dragon breath shot straight for Yiming. So what if his soul rings are a little weird? He laid a hand on my student, so I'm gonna lay a smackdown on him. The fire dragon lunged, but Yiming just smirked and charged forward with the clear sky hammer, not even trying to dodge. The fire dragon slammed into him, but couldn't even budge him. The Red King was basically the Lord of Hellfire. The orange gold soul ring had boosted Yiming's soul power and skills, but also granted him insane fire resistance. Now, only the most extreme flames could even singe him. Seizing the moment of stunned silence, Yiming activated the 5th black soul ring, sourced from the 60,000-year-old dark demon evil god tiger, 5th soul skill, Hammer Shadow Blitz. Yiming swung, and the space within 100 meters vibrated. A silver light washed over the academy entrance, then, hundreds of silver hammers materialized from the light, coming at Lu Erlong from every direction. Lu Erlong paled. Each of those silver hammers packed the punch of her sixth soul skill. Seventh soul skill, Fire Dragon Incarnate. A massive winged fire dragon erupted onto the field, flailing its claws to desperately swat away the silver hammers. Dai Mubai and the others scrambled back, fleeing the area covered in silver light. Seeing the attack, they understood why their opponent hadn't used his martial soul earlier. Combined, they might not even be able to withstand that. The fire dragon weaved through the air, but the silver hammers kept popping out of thin air right next to her. In just a few breaths, Lu Erlong had been hammered dozens of times. She was beyond frustrated, about to cough up blood. Without her martial soul avatar, her body couldn't take the silver hammer onslaught, but using the avatar increased her size, making her a giant bullseye. With the silver hammers holding her down, she couldn't even get close to Yi Ming. Unlike her, Flanders was in shock. He was standing near Lu Erlong, and when he saw her attack, he had not stopped her. He wanted to see Yi Ming's true strength. Who would have thought that Lu Erlong's fire dragon breath didn't cause any damage at all? In the blink of an eye, he directly used a skill and covered him. He was a little contemptuous at first, but when a silver hammer hit his back, it almost broke his gallbladder. Suddenly, the seventh black soul ring on Flanders' body flashed, and he directly used the cat owl's true body. Screech! The cat owl screeched, then soared into the sky, fighting alongside the fire dragon, trying to break through the wall of silver light. But Yi Ming's soul power was deep, and his control over his skills was perfect. Whenever the two almost broke free, dozens of silver hammers would appear and force them back. The space-time abilities of the dark demon evil god Tiger were embedded in the soul skill, trapping both soul Douluos. This kid's soul ring must be stronger than 50,000 years. Flanders yelled, "Erlong, get serious and shatter his soul skill." Lu Erlong nodded. The eighth black soul ring on her body flared, and a blinding fire erupted from her body, instantly vaporizing all the surrounding silver hammers. Seizing the brief opening, Flanders lunged forward, his cat-owl claw aimed straight for Yi Ming. Yi Ming smirked, gripping the clear sky hammer in both hands, using the flying goo technique, jumping into the air and intercepting Flanders. Boom. Boom, star, releasing his first and second soul rings in quick succession, the two hammer strikes slammed into Flanders with terrifying power, sending him flying backward. Flanders grunted, his insides churning. What incredible strength! He gasped, his hands trembling. Lu Erlong, standing nearby, said bitterly, "Flanders, I can't hold on much longer." Finally, the silver light flickered and vanished, leaving Flanders and Lu Erlong hovering in the air, blood trickling from their lips. Everyone stared in shock. Dai Mubai and the others were speechless, staring at Yi Ming like he was a god. The on-duty students watched from a distance, jaws on the floor. That guy's a monster. The Dean and Erlong are no match for him. Yeah, is that the clear sky hammer? He's got to be from one of the top 3 sects. He's beating 2 soul Douluos as a soul emperor. And he's not even older than us. Monster. He's a straight-up monster. Flanders and Lu Erlong had exceptional hearing, and the students' comments made them blush. Yi Ming watched them recover, but his hands didn't stop moving. Since he'd started the fight, he would use this chance to hone his soul skills. Fist is the truth. Let's see if my truth is big enough. Shwa! The orange gold light of his sixth soul ring flared, and he swung the clear sky hammer, engulfing it in hellfire. Roar. Star. A draconic roar ripped through the air as 3 world-ending fire dragons, wreathed in hellfire, soared toward Flanders and Lu Erlong. The flames made the air sizzle, and the trees near the academy entrance were reduced to ash by the stray sparks. Oscar and the others scrambled backward again, relieved that Yi Ming hadn't used this power earlier. Otherwise, they wouldn't stand a chance. This attack was one of the 2 skills granted by the Scarlet King's soul ring, Fire Dragon Devouring the Sky. Chapter 66 Sword Douluo Continent. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The moment the fire dragons appeared, Flanders and Lu Erlong were terrified. Their soul power surged as they threw up every defensive skill they had. Facing these 3 fire dragons, they felt a primal sense of danger they hadn't experienced in ages. They couldn't stop this. Flanders spread his wings and positioned himself directly in front of Lu Erlong, ready to shield her with his own body from the world-ending firestorm. Flanders, no! Lu Erlong shouted, reaching out with her dragon claws to pull him back, but the fire dragons were already upon them, and regret washed over Flanders' face. Buzz, star, the air cracked with the sound of a sword. In a flash, an old man stood before Flanders, clad in pristine white robes, his long, silver hair neatly pulled back, his face as smooth as a baby's. His expression was indifferent, his eyes seemingly fixed on nothing. He stood silently, but his presence filled the world. He held his sword in his left hand, moving with a subtle grace that seemed to echo the very laws of nature. The sword in his hand flickered to life. With a flick of his wrist, he unleashed 6 precise strikes, forming the massive character kill in the path of the 3-headed fire dragons. Darkness seemed to fall, and the sheer force radiating from that single word kill slammed Flanders and Lu Erlong out of their martial spirit transformations, forcing them to the ground. Boom, starred at a deafening explosion ripped through the air. The moment the 3-headed fire dragons collided with the word kill, the resulting shockwave sent Shrek Academy's 1,000 steps tumbling. Students with less power were thrown through the air, pummeled by flying debris. Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing instantly activated their martial spirits, shielding Ning Rongrong and Oscar just enough to withstand the blast. The air shimmered with blinding light. 2 of the fire dragons were annihilated by the word kill, leaving only one to charge toward the old man. Roar! Hellfire swirled, disrupting the old man's ethereal aura. He raised his sword again, aiming for the dragon's forehead. Bang! The fire dragon exploded, its terrifying heat threatening to consume everything nearby. The old man's expression turned grim. In a blur, he transformed into a towering, 15-foot-long sword. The giant sword danced in the air, extinguishing the escaped hellfire. Ming watched the spectacle, his face calm as he gripped the Haotian hammer. As the fire dissipated, the giant sword shifted back into the old man, who gently floated to the ground. Chen, his left hand still tucked behind his back, a hint of uncertainty in his eyes, glanced at the dark golden Haotian hammer in Ming's hand and asked, "Why is a disciple of the Haotian sect attacking Shrek Academy?" Flanders and Lu Erlong, just getting to their feet, noticed Chen Xian's hidden left hand trembling slightly. They exchanged a look, their eyes wide with shock. Ming saw Chen Xian sheath the 7-kill sword and then stored his martial spirit. "I came looking for Tang San, but these people attacked me as soon as I arrived." Ming gestured toward Dai Mubai and the others in the distance, then turned to Flender and the others behind Chen Xian, adding helplessly, "They said fists are the only language they understand, so I figured I'd speak their language first." Chen Xian looked toward the group to see Dai Mubai scratching his head sheepishly, Ning Rongrong sticking out her tongue, and Zhu Zhuqing and Oscar both looking embarrassed. Behind him, Flanders and Lu Erlong were mortified, wishing they could disappear. This was Shrek's philosophy: those who don't dare to cause trouble are worthless. But today, they had clearly met their match. "It seems there's been a misunderstanding." Chen Xian nodded slightly. "I apologize on their behalf." Grandpa Jian. Master Sword Saint. Ning Rongrong and the others exclaimed, while Flanders and Lu Erlong were instantly filled with shame. Ming politely turned aside. "You're too kind, Your Majesty. Since it's a misunderstanding, let's just leave it at that. I came to tell Tang San something important. Since he's not here, I'll be on my way." He turned to leave, but Chen Xian stopped him. "Wait a minute. You're from the Haotian sect. Something must have happened there. Tang San won't be back for a while. If you don't mind, could you tell us what's going on? If it's urgent, I can fly to find him." Chen Xian was intrigued by the powerful disciple before him. He sensed the strange spirit ring on his body and also felt the echoes of a fierce battle that had taken place some distance from Tiando City, and that direction was exactly where the Haotian sect was located. Flanders, ignoring his injuries, couldn't stay silent any longer. If he stood back now, he would be a failure as a dean. He stepped forward with a smile, taking over the conversation. As they say, you don't know someone until you've fought them. You've come all this way. Why don't you come to Shrek Academy and relax for a bit? Maybe Tang-san will be back before you know it. Flanders smiled, acting as if nothing had just happened. In that case, I appreciate the offer. Ming decided not to refuse, not wanting to offend Chen Xian. Shrek Academy, once known as the Blue Tyrant Academy, covered a vast area. Behind the academy lay a small lake, and beside the lake stood a quaint courtyard. Inside the courtyard, Ning Fengji, Chen Xian, Gu Rong, Flanders, Lu Erlong, Yu Xiaojiang, and Yi Ming were seated in a pavilion. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing served tea to everyone before standing behind them alongside Dai Mubai and Oscar. Yi Ming didn't feel like drinking tea. He sighed, and a look of pain and regret crossed his face. He began to speak slowly. Here's what happened. After the disciple competition and Tang San's departure, the 5 elders of the sect took us to the Star Do Great Forest to obtain spirit rings. But we ran into Ghost Douluo and Chrysanthemum Douluo from the spirit hall halfway through our journey. The 5 elders each lost an arm saving us, and we got separated outside the Star Do Great Forest. By chance, I met Tang San in the Star Do Great Forest and joined forces with him to kill several spirit hall soul saints. But we were intercepted by 2 titled Douluo, forcing Xiao Wu to sacrifice herself. Afterward, we separated again, and I returned to the sect. Yi Ming's face flickered with fear and pain. His eyes were red as he continued. Not long after returning to the sect, the 5th elder brought back a 3-eyed soul beast that looked like a dragon and a lion. Little did we know that this soul beast would bring about a disaster for the Haotian sect. 3 terrifying beasts arrived that day. The sect master said they were soul beasts that were over 100,000 years old. A bear king, a dog king, and a tree spirit. They began a massacre at the Haotian sect. The sect master led the elders into battle. The flames blazed, and we were trapped by the Red King's flames. Only I, using my second martial soul, was able to escape. They were my family, friends, brothers, and sisters. I hid in the corner, watching them burn in the fire, and my heart was breaking. Later, the elders died, and the sect master grabbed my hand and told me to live. Before he died, he entrusted me with the Haotian sect, charging me to restore its glory. How I wanted to die with them. But I couldn't. I had to remember this hatred. I will make those soul beasts pay. Wiping the tears from his eyes, he clenched his teeth and vowed, I will avenge the 478 members of the Haotian sect. Chapter 67 Impacting the 4th Transformation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bang! Yi Ming's hand tightened around the teacup, crushing it. Fragments embedded themselves in his skin, but he didn't even flinch. His eyes, red and brimming with tears, spoke of a profound grief. The room fell silent, everyone deeply moved. Ning Rongrong, remembering her sect's tragic fate, bowed her head and wept. Oscar, seeing her distress, wrapped his arms around her. Lu Erlong and Yu Xiaojiang exchanged a look, their faces flushing. Ning Fengji sighed silently, his expression somber. Dai Mubai felt a wave of guilt wash over him. Ashamed of his earlier actions, he stepped forward, placing a hand on Yi Ming's shoulder. You're Xiaosan's brother, which makes you my brother, too, Dai Mubai's brother. He said earnestly. Anything you need, just ask. Me too, Zhu Zhuqing said coolly, gently placing her hand on Dai Mubai's. Ning Rongrong and Oscar stepped closer. Count us in, they declared, their voices sincere. Thank you, thank you. Yi Ming whispered, tears streaming down his face. Ning Fengji and Chen Xian exchanged a knowing glance. Chen Xian turned to Yi Ming, waiting for him to compose himself. That soul ring of yours. He began hesitantly, the color. Yi Ming nodded apologetically to Dai Mubai and the others. He stepped aside, focusing his energy to summon the Thunder Wing Gu. The faint blue wings, crackling with lightning, sent a ripple of shock through the onlookers. Another twin martial soul. Ignoring the surprised stares, Yi Ming continued, after escaping the fire with my second martial soul, I went back hoping to find some remains of my family. But then, I sensed a violent disturbance in the mountains nearby. I went to investigate and saw a strange figure in blood-red robes, carrying a blood-soaked sword. He'd just taken down the Dog King with a single blow and scared off the Bear King and the Tree Spirit. Once they were gone, I focused on the Dog King. I needed power, and he was close to death. That's how I got this spirit ring. Whoa! A collective gasp filled the room. Chen Xian looked at Yu Xiaojiang, his expression curious. Yu Xiaojiang rose to his feet and nodded. It's possible. When a soul master is in a desperate situation or experiencing extreme emotional turmoil, there's a small chance they can break through their limits and endure things they normally couldn't. Tang Yiming was already strong, and the intense grief pushed him over the edge. That understanding dawned on everyone, mixed with admiration and pity for Yiming. Flender stood up and addressed Yiming. If you're willing, Shrek will be your home from now on. You've been through a lot. Rest here at Shrek and wait for the mistress to return. Mubai, find little brother Yiming a room and let him get some sleep. Yiming looked at Chen Xian. Your Majesty. Chen Xian nodded. Don't worry, I'll find Tang San and have him come back as soon as possible. You two are all that's left of the Haotian sect, so you need to stay strong. Relieved, Yiming left with Dai Mubai and the others. Once they were gone, Ning Fengji rubbed his temples, looking troubled. What a mess. The Wuhuan Palace is bad enough, but now it looks like the Soul Beast clan is about to launch an attack. Uncle Jian, Uncle Bone, do you think what Tang Yiming said is true? Chen Xian and Gu Rong exchanged a look and nodded. Sect Master, I'm afraid it is. We sensed intense fighting near the Haotian sect a few days ago. Ning Fengji nodded. Uncle Jian, I'm going to have to ask you to handle this. It needs to be dealt with swiftly. Without a word, Chen Xian drew his sword, soaring into the sky and disappearing in a flash of light. His destination, the Haotian sect. He wasn't about to make any decisions based solely on Tang Yiming's word. After Chen Xian departed, Ning Fengji turned to Yu Xiaojiang. Master, he said smoothly, how do you suggest we play this? Humans and soul beasts have always been at odds. If the soul beasts attack, can we use that to weaken Wuhuan Palace? Yu Xiaojiang pondered for a long moment, then shook his head with a wry smile. Bibi Dong is determined to conquer the continent. That strategy is unlikely to work, and even if it did, it would only be a temporary fix. She'll definitely stab us in the back to reduce our power. I don't think she cares any more about the survival of humanity. After Yiming's heart-wrenching story, Dai Mubai and the others felt a surge of sympathy for him. Being young and impressionable, it didn't take long for them to start acting like buddies. I always thought the mistress was off the charts, but you're even crazier than him. Dai Mubai chuckled, slinging an arm around Yiming's shoulders. Those punches you threw were awesome. Yeah. Ning Rongrong said, clutching her chest playfully. You didn't even spare us girls. Sorry, Yiming said, genuinely remorseful. I was in a bad place and got carried away. Sensing the shift in mood, Dai Mubai quickly clapped him on the back. He gestured to a small courtyard ahead and said with a grin, it's been a long day, and you're beat. Get some rest, and the mistress will probably be back in a few days. Oscar chimed in, if you need anything, just let us know. Shrek Academy is huge, with tons of places to train. Make yourself at home. The dean says that's how we treat our geniuses. Yiming nodded. Thanks, guys. I owe you one. I'm pretty tired and want to rest first. Seeing their nods, Yiming smiled faintly and went into the courtyard. The four major single attribute sects are gathered at the border between Tiando and Xingluo. Even with Chen Xian moving fast, it'll take a while for Tang San to get back. In the meantime, I can try to reach the fourth turn. Yiming thought to himself, some of my goo worms can't keep up anymore. I need to upgrade and combine them. He glanced at the system storage, which contained more than 1.165 million yuanshi and 2 Qingdisian yuan. The true essence from a Qingdisian yuan is virtually limitless for goo masters below the fifth turn. Right now, he was hesitant to use it. becoming an immortal at the 6th turn was still a long way off. If the system ever gave him an immortal goo, that Qingdi Xian Yuan would be perfect. Ming summoned 1,000 yuancher with a flick of his wrist. The snow-silver true essence in his 2 voids surged wildly, slamming against the void walls. His 2 voids were at the peak of the 3rd turn. Given enough time and yuan force, breaking through wouldn't be a problem. His true essence churned, waves crashing against the voids. Outside the courtyard, Dai Mubai watched Ming disappear inside, then playfully punched Oscar in the chest. Xiao Ao, you're good. You're even swiping Xiao San's moves. Let's go try it. Oscar rubbed his chest, grinning. Boss Dai, take it easy. I'm just a support-type soul master. Behind them, Zhu Zhuqing held Ning Rongrong's hand, smiling and teasing them, as the 4 of them headed toward the academy. Dai Mubai sighed. We're all here because of the 5-year promise. It's just Xiao Wu. Man, Xiao San is really suffering. Silence fell over the group. Oscar spoke up suddenly. Didn't Xiao San say that if he gets strong enough, he can bring Xiao Wu back to life? This isn't just about Xiao San anymore. They exchanged determined looks, nodding in unison. Chapter 68 4 Clans with Single Attributes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the peak of Haotian Sect Mountain, Chen Xian stood on his 7-killing sword, a frown etched on his face, hands clasped behind his back, the sleeve of his empty right arm flapping in the wind. Below, the once majestic Haotian sect was now a charred ruin. The Red King's flames had scorched half the mountain. Bones were indistinguishable amidst rocks, all melted and fused into blackened stone. Looks like what the kid said was right. The top 3 sects are a sham now. Chen Xian sighed, shook his head, and soared away on his sword. He noticed a mountain half collapsed by some massive force, figuring it had to be where the kid said the Red King fell. Examining the battle's aftermath, he felt a chill. Even I couldn't cause this kind of damage with residual force. Whatever attacked the Haotian sect wasn't any ordinary creature. The strong always have a strange connection. Just by examining the scene, Chen Xian could tell how brutal the fight had been. Shaking his head, he flew towards the edge of the Xinglua Empire. He needed to find Tang San and figure out what they were up to. Chen Xian had to admit, he was getting old. The future of the continent probably rested with these youngsters. In the Pei clan's courtyard, Tang San was locked in a fierce battle with Yang Wudi, the clan patriarch. Yang Wudi, an 82nd level soul Douluo, wielded his soul-breaking spear, pushing Tang San to the brink. Buzz. Black flames surged on Yang Wudi's spear. He was consumed by his own aura, merging spear and body, and thrust the soul-breaking spear towards Tang San's chest. Alarm bells rang in Tang San's mind. If that hit, he'd be seriously hurt. This fight was his only chance to win over the Pei clan. Xiao Wu, let's do this together. Tang San pleaded silently. A strange golden light enveloped him instantly. His soft bone charm rabbit's left arm bone granted him its second skill, invincible golden body. The black flame slammed against the golden light on Tang San's chest, but the absolute invincibility held, causing no damage. The invincible golden body lasted only 3 seconds. Tang San, with no time to summon the blue-silver emperor, unleashed his clear sky hammer directly at Yang Wudi. Metal clashed against metal. The clear sky hammer sent Yang Wudi's soul-breaking spear flying from his grip, hurling him backward. Then, Tang San's 8 spider lances shot out, aiming straight for Yang Wudi. Yang Wudi frowned, contorting his body, snatching the soul-breaking spear, and thrusting it out again. Spear met spider lance, and a shockwave knocked both men back. The invincible golden body had worn off. Yang Wudi, seizing the moment, flung the soul-breaking spear, targeting Tang San's heart. Without the invincible golden body, Tang San felt the true terror of the soul-breaking spear. Caught between attacks, his blue-silver emperor martial spirit appeared on its own. 6 soul rings circled him, the last, a red one, blazing. His 6th soul skill, nothingness. Tang San became ghostly, and the soul-breaking spear passed right through his chest, embedding itself in the pillar behind him. A spectral pink figure detached from the red light, rushing at Yang Wudi as he retreated. With a sharp flick, Xiao Wu's scorpion braid coiled around Yang Wudi's neck. She kicked off his back, using his body as leverage, arching him backward, and with another kick, sent him flying. Tang San's eyes widened. The 2 soul skills of the 6th soul ring were nothingness and the 8th-stage explosive throw he knew so well. These skills came from the 100,000-year-old Xiao Wu and were devastating. Plus, they drained so little of his own soul power, relying on Xiao Wu's. Bang, 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 .6 sounds ripped through the air, disorienting Yang Wudi, leaving him dazed. Bang! Yang Wudi crashed to the ground. Xiao Wu's ghostly form grabbed his right foot, swinging him around like a rag doll. Tian, Niu Gao, and Bai He, the other clan leaders, gulped, watching the spectacle. Seeing Yang Wudi was about to fall, Tang San shouted, "Xiao Wu, enough!" Xiao Wu stopped, throwing herself into Tang San's arms like a bird. Hiss! Yang Wudi finally pulled himself up, grimacing. "Kid, you win this one. Name your terms." "I won't refuse anything." Tang San, holding the spectral Xiao Wu, was about to answer when a figure on a sword floated down. "Senior Chen Xian?" Tang San asked, confused. "What brings you here?" Chen Xian sheathed his 7-killing sword, looked around, and sighed. "Xiao San, the Haotian sect is gone." "What?" "That's impossible," the clan leaders shouted. Even Tang San was bewildered. Chen Xian sighed. "It's true. A few days after you left, your cousin Tang Yeming came to the academy looking for you. I went to the Haotian sect to confirm it myself. Besides Tang Yeming, no one survived. How could this happen? How could it?" Bai He crumbled, collapsing to the ground. Niu Gao and Tian were stunned, grief etched on their faces. Yang Wudi stood speechless. Though their 4 single-attribute clans were independent of the Haotian sect, they had always sprung from it. "Senior. Let's go. We have to go back now," Tang San said, his eyes steely. "I have to get answers from my cousin," that he hadn't forgotten that he had entrusted his father's 2 soul bones to the sect. Tang San glanced at the spectral Xiao Wu in his arms, a conflict raging in his heart. Could soul beasts and humans truly never coexist? In the small courtyard, Ming turned down Oscar and the others' invitation to visit Shrek, again locking himself in his room. Dai Mubai sighed, "No wonder he's so strong. He's been cooped up practicing for days." Oscar nodded. "Guess I can't slack off. Can't wait for Fatso to get back, I'm gonna cream him." Ming watched them leave, then sat back on his bed. "Both my aerial apertures have broken through and hit 4th rank now. I could probably take on your average title Douluo," he rubbed his chin. "My soul power's at level 70. I'm not wasting time on ordinary 10,000-year soul beasts, it's gotta be 100,000-year one, at least." Absorbing the Red King had boosted him so much, ordinary soul rings couldn't compare. But the Star Doe Forest is off limits now. If I want a 100,000-year soul ring, I'll probably have to go to sea. After planning his next steps, Ming turned his mind to the Sea of True Energy. Time to refine the goo worm. Chapter 69, Remarks on the Launch. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, so I got the word from the editor, the book's heading to the digital shelves after the second round of reviews. First off, a huge thanks to all of you readers for your incredible support. We're going live. Yeah, it stopped at the second round, almost made it to the third. But hey, what can you do? Since there won't be any further promotional spots, it's time to put it out there for sale. I know a lot of you might be checking out at this point, and that's alright. Well, we hit it off great, but now you're moving on. It's time to say goodbye, fellow readers. Allow me to send you off in style, said Cowardly Bear and Fish with a wistful smile, the ultimate farewell move, the send-off win technique. As Cowardly Bear and Fish finished speaking, a wave of readers found themselves lifted gently into the air, floating forward, their hair, clothes, hands, and feet danced playfully in the breeze. But seriously, a big shout out to the 91 Galaxy Group and my editor, Snow White Galaxy, for all their help, and one more time, I'm begging you, please give the first sale a chance. I'm on my knees, people. This news caught me completely off guard, and my stockpile of chapters vanished in a flash. Let's not mess with the bonus chapter rules. Part-time work is rough. The chapter explosion emptied my reserves. I don't even have a crumb left. The daily updates after this will depend on how that first day goes. If we hit 800 sales on day 1, I'll update with 6,000 words daily. If we hit 1,000, you're getting 8,000 words a day. And if we smash 1,500 sales, it's 10,000 words daily. Judging by the current interest in the book, reaching that 10,000 word goal is totally within reach, so I'm really hoping you'll all do your best to support the launch. Thank you. Thank you. No matter what happens, I hope you're all happy and healthy. Haven't you heard that when one door closes, another opens? I'm just cheering you on, the path is right there in front of you. Chapter 70 The Bitter Story of Goo Refining. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Ming's channels were now at the 4th stage, meaning some of his goo worms weren't cutting it anymore. His second channel had only 4th stage or higher strength goo worms, so no upgrade was needed there. But a lot of the goo worms in his primary channel were still only 2nd stage, which made them kinda weak. Goo masters usually stick to goo worms that match their current level. Lower level ones just don't pack enough punch, and higher level ones need more energy than they have to activate. He'd pulled off that 3rd stage to 5th stage move with the strength goo before because they didn't need as much energy. Even then, it didn't last long. Now that he was 4th stage, his energy was totally transformed, so it was time to upgrade his goo worms. Yi Ming held out his hand, and the 2nd stage Unishang, his primary goo worm, flew from his channel into his palm. Then, with a flick of his other hand, the 3rd stage Baoyue Goo appeared from the back of his head to his other hand. These two could combine into the 4th stage Baoyue Nishang Goo, which tripled the power of moon-type goo worms and had serious defense. The big deal, though, was that Baoyue Nishang Goo could be combined into the 5th stage Bei Yugengwang Goo, which had the ultimate defense. Whoosh! After double-checking the goo worm combo details in his head from the Goo Master's Guide, Stages 1 to 5, Yi Ming eyed the 2 goo worms in his hands and exhaled. His soul had been fortified by Danghun Mountain and absorbing Red King's soul, which meant he had insane control. Feeling the goo worms changes inside that milky light, Yi Ming tossed in a bunch of yuanchi from his storage. Even though his primary goo worm wouldn't die if things went south, Yi Ming was still careful, controlling every little thing. He sensed the changes happening and threw in materials he had collected as needed. Buzz, the milky white light shook a little and shrank fast. Yi Ming didn't flinch. He flicked his fingers and used his soul power to guide the combination. Pop. The light vanished, and a brand new goo worm appeared. It looked like a walnut-sized moon disk with colorful ribbons swirling around it. It was dark blue and really pretty. 4th stage Baoyue Nishang Goo, done. Yi Ming smiled, tapped his finger, and the Baoyue Nishang Goo flew to the back of his head, leaving a moon disk mark. This gave him a boost. He held out his hand, and the 2nd stage water cover goo flew in. He was gonna upgrade this water cover goo, now. Upgrading meant leveling up the goo worm to make it stronger. With a flick, the water cover goo floated into the air, and a milky light showed up. After feeding it the yuanchi, Yi Ming started guiding things. Buzz, that sound again, but then, bang. The milky light exploded, and the water cover goo smacked into the window. Yi Ming rushed over, but the water cover goo was dead. He sighed and put the water cover goo's body away. Whether it was combining, upgrading, or reverse engineering, there was always a chance things could go wrong, hurting or even killing the goo worm. For goo masters, the higher the stage, the more it sucked when things went south. Raising a goo to a high stage was tough, but if it died, all those resources were gone. If the goo worm died, his own fighting power would be affected, too. This was why the primary goo was so important. Even with the Goo Master's Guide, Stages 1 to 5, Yi Ming was still a little rough around the edges. He'd get better with practice. After chilling out a little, Yi Ming went back to it. The black pig goo failed. Dead goo worm. The white jade goo worked. The 4 flavors wine worm failed. Dead goo worm. The shadow follower goo failed. Injured goo worm. The broken moon goo worked. Yi Ming's eyes were getting bloodshot, and his breathing was a bit heavy. Even with the guide, stuff still happened, and he had to learn from it. For days, Ming stayed in his room, working on his goo. Meanwhile, outside Shrek Academy, a crew of 30-plus people arrived. Leading the charge was Feng Xiaotian, captain of the Kamikaze Academy team. Behind him were Huo Wushuang, captain of the Blazing Academy team, and his second-in-command, Huo Wu. Then there was Shui Binger, captain of the Tian Shui Academy team, and Shui Yuer, who could fuse their souls with her. Last but not least, Yu Tianxin, captain of the Thunder Academy team. Feng Xiaotian led them to the entrance. One of his guys stepped up and challenged the Shrek Academy guard. "Hey, kid. Get your teacher out here. We're from the Four Elements Academy, here for an exchange. Can't you be nice?" The guard shot back. "Is that how you talk?" The student smirked. A wind blade appeared, and 4 rings lit up. He knocked down the guard with a gust of wind. "Just you wait." The guard turned and ran to get a Shrek Academy teacher. Soon, Oscar and Ning Rongrong showed up with 3 teachers, Xiao Xian, Li Yusong, and Lu Qibin. On the way, Oscar muttered, "These guys from the Four Elements Academy are no good. They're not here for an exchange, they're here to start trouble." Ning Rongrong frowned. With the Spirit Hall getting stronger, the Four Elements Academy moved to Heaven Do City. "I bet they're here to cause problems on purpose. And they picked the worst time." Oscar sighed. The students just leveled up, but Dai and his wife, Dean Flender, Lu Erlong, and teacher Zhao Wuji went to find spirit beasts to get spirit rings. Ning Rongrong was bummed. The Star Do Forest was dangerous, and to keep everyone safe, almost all the senior staff were out. As for her dad, he had taken Bon Douluo to move the sect to the palace, and now, the Four Elements Academy was here to make trouble. Oscar got to the entrance, walked up to Feng Xiaotian, and said, "Feng Xiaotian, what's the deal? You heard a Shrek Academy student. You think you can push us around?" Feng Xiaotian looked at Oscar and felt a chill. Oscar looked the same, but that scar and his whole vibe had changed big time. He sensed a serious threat from Oscar, which wasn't just from training. He smiled and said, "It was just a misunderstanding. Young people being reckless." "Misunderstanding? So if we beat someone from your school, that's just a misunderstanding, too?" Oscar snapped back. The atmosphere was tense. Huo Wu scoffed, "If you got a problem, get those Shrek 7 devils of yours and we'll fight." "Loser apologizes." Oscar rolled his eyes, whispered to Ning Rongrong, then stared at Huo Wu and said, "Fine. But they're not here, so you and I can fight first."